Are you wanting to go on a cruise vacation and you don't have anyone to travel with you? Perhaps you're divorced, you're widowed, your spouse or your partner doesn't want to cruise, your friends or your family aren't available, or you don't want to share a tiny little cabin with your friends or family, then stick around because in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my very first solo cruise experience. And this is not only a solo cruise, I am also on my very first transatlantic cruise. And there's so much I want to share with you, not only about the solo cruise experience, but also crossing the Atlantic, 8 days at sea, some of the different ports that I'm visiting. And I welcome you to come along. I'm going to separate it into smaller videos. So if you'd like to be alerted when each of these videos are posted, be sure you hit that subscribe button. And also just a little bit about me. My husband did pass away almost 2 years ago, and I didn't like living in our home in Phoenix by myself, but I didn't know where I wanted to move to. I had a whole bunch of timeshare points, and so I decided to sell everything I own and travel around the country and around the world until I could figure out where I want to live next. So for the last 11 months, everything I own fits in my car. I usually will live in timeshares anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks at a time. But for this 3 week period of time, I am here on board the cruise ship, and you could probably tell we are at sea because there is some shaking and jiggling. And you could also tell I'm on a cruise ship because look what arrived in my room today. So let's start by talking about booking the cruise. I found a really cool website, and it's vacations2go.com. As of me filming this, I am not an affiliate for Vacations to Go site. I just found them to be incredibly helpful in finding a cruise, whether you're a solo traveler or you're going with a group or another person. Inside this website, there is an advanced search feature, and you can select the cruise line, you can select ports that you would want to leave out of, or ports that you would want to exclude in your search. You can list how many days, what region, do you want to return back to the same port, do you want to relocate to a different port. You can put in all of this criteria. And the really cool thing about it is you can also put in whether the cruise pricing is going to be double occupancy or single occupancy. And here's why that's so important. Normally, cruises are per person based on double occupancy. Well, if you're a solo traveler, then what will happen is if it's an $800 cruise and you're a solo traveler based on double occupancy, you're going to pay $1,600 for that cruise. But inside of Vacations to Go website, they are sorting through all the different cruises, and I'm going to put a screenshot of what this sort feature can do. But inside of this website, they will list what is the percentage markup for the solo traveler. So if it's 100%, then you know you're going to be paying double for that room. If it is, in my case, I am on a Princess Cruise Line doing a reposition cruise from Florida to the UK, 16 days. There was only a 25% solo or single traveler markup. And so the bottom line was on a 16-day cruise, I have a room to stay in. I've got all the food I can eat, all the entertainment that I could ever imagine, the whole cruise experience, the opportunity to visit 5 different ports, and all of that with tax and port fees and everything came to less than $1,500. So less than $100 per day, I have this incredible solo cruise experience. I have had other solo cruisers who've been on hundreds of solo cruises tell me that they also use that website. But one thing that they do in addition that I didn't do is then they will call the actual cruise line and compare prices. So when you're talking with an agent, whether it's directly with the cruise line or an agent from Vacation to Go, you're going to be comparing prices, which might change based on the timing of where you are from departure date. It can also vary with some different discounts you might be eligible for, and they may not share with you what those discounts are. So just be aware that I believe there's military discount, AARP discount, if you're a member of AAA or Automobile Club. If you are cruising for a second or more time on a cruise ship that you, or a cruise line that you've cruised with before, they will sometimes give repeat discounts. They may also give ship onboard credits. And so you want to make sure that you're asking for all of the eligible discounts and credits that you might be eligible for, whether you're talking to a travel agent or you're talking to the cruise line. And by the way, if you are experienced in this, and if there are some other discounts that I'm missing, please list those down in the comments so other people, like I say, I'm new to this next chapter and I'm still learning, and I'm excited as I go through this journey, but I don't know everything. So if you have some experience, please share that down in the comments. Once you're on board the ship, it's up to you how much you now want to socialize. If you want to just kind of stay to yourself, maybe you have a very stressful life, a stressful business, a stressful family, and you're just going to get away and have some quiet time, you can take a book, and there's tons of places on the cruise ship that you can just hang out and just be by yourself. You can dine by yourself. And so there's lots of different ways that you can have that just alone experience. If you're someone who wants to meet people and socialize and participate in some of the different activities, here's a few things that I'll share along those lines. As a solo cruiser, I think most cruise lines, all cruise lines, will have a solo traveler meet and greet, at least on the very first or second day. And on this cruise ship, every single night it's posted on the schedule that the solo travelers are meeting in one of the lounges at 5:15. And I when I went, there was like 50 to 60 people in the room, and every single experienced solo traveler who was there said that is the most they have ever seen. And I'm glad I heard that, because now when I cruise solo in the future and there's only 5 people showing up or 10 people showing up, I won't be surprised by that. So just know that the solo traveler meet and greet can be anywhere from a few people to a ton of people. And I would imagine it also depends on what cruise you're taking, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. The other way that you can meet people is at the dining room. You can either sit with a group, like many of the solo travelers now have formed, a friendship among one another, and we enjoy dining together. So as a table of 8, we are meeting and dining together each night. If you want to meet new people each night, as you go to the dining room, there is a line for a shared table. And what they will do, whether it's quite often it's couples, sometimes there's some solo travelers, but you'll be matched with other people so that you can fill a table for 6 or 8 or 10. And this is a great way to get to know other people. The other way you can meet people is there's just tons of activities on board the ship. So whether you like doing puzzles, if you like working out, if you like enjoying different shows, you can meet people with similar interests. I know on this cruise they have a knitting group, and so if you're a knitter, you can meet other knitters. I've walked by the library and seen several people sitting around working a puzzle. I've seen people playing different board games. And you can also go to a lot of the live shows. They have live performances with song and dance and comedy. And when you sit next to people, it's so easy to strike up conversations with people on cruise ships. The individuals cruising are very friendly, and it's just a simple conversation. Where are you from, and is this your first cruise, and are you planning to stay at the destination once you get there for any period of time. And so it's just really easy to strike up conversation and get to know other travelers. And then it's fun because you pass by them on the various decks, and it's always nice to see familiar faces and people who you've met. So something else to be aware of with cruising is the demographics on the cruise ship can vary based on where it's cruising to, the time of the year that the cruise is happening. Some cruise lines tend to cater more to a more mature crowd. They don't have the little roller coasters on the top deck. And so depending on what type of demographic, age range that you want to cruise with, that is something that you'll want to maybe do a little bit more research. And I'll give you an example. The cruise ship that I'm on right now, a month ago, did a 2-week sail, and they had 1,200 passengers. Now, our cruise ship holds about 3,500 passengers. There were over 1,000 of those passengers were young people, and they qualified like for the teen and the children's section because it was spring break and all of the young people were out of school and everyone was cruising. On the cruise that I'm on right now, it's a 16-day transatlantic crossing. I think there are no more than 15 individuals who are high school age or less because school is in session. It's a much longer cruise. You've got to fly back from the other destination. And so the cruise ship that I'm on right now is definitely a more mature crowd. So if you are wanting to be within a particular demographic, then by all means talk to the travel agent, either with a cruise line or the professional that you're working with, or research some different blog posts, check out some other videos around, what clientele is on various cruise ships so that you can match with what you'd feel most comfortable with or you feel like you would enjoy the most. One of the last things that I want to address in this video is safety on a cruise. And when I did a post on my Facebook feed, somebody had commented that they would love to cruise solo, but they're afraid. And when I asked her, what is it that you're afraid of specifically? She said, I've heard that the hallways are really long on cruise ships, and I feel extremely vulnerable walking down the long halls. And I want to address that here in this video. Yes, there are very long halls in on either side as you're walking down to your rooms. If you don't want to walk long hallways, you can have room selection and you can select a room that's closer to the elevators. But here's the other thing. The people who are cruising are super friendly people, and I can't even I can't even imagine being fearful walking anywhere on this cruise ship. I feel extremely safe. That being said, I am also on a cruise with a more mature crowd. And if you were on a cruise ship that was a shorter cruise, it's more of the party boat, maybe 3 to 5 days at sea, and there's lots of young individuals, lots of drinking. Maybe, I don't know because I haven't cruised on those. And if you have any experience with that, like, has there ever been a time that you've been afraid on a cruise ship of other passengers? I personally have never ever felt it. I feel with all the traveling that I do, and I'm staying in hotels around the world and around the country, I'm staying in resorts, and I don't feel fearful really anywhere I go. But I will say that the safest place that I feel I can be is on a cruise ship. I'm just surrounded by incredible people, friendly people. I feel like if I were in one of these narrow hallways late at night and something happened and I screamed, there would be a bunch of people right there to help me out. So that is not a fear at all, but I do want to address it because I know for many people who are single or widowed, traveling solo just to begin with can be really, really scary. And if you're making your very first solo trip, I feel like cruising is probably a really good place to start because you'll feel so safe and protected on a cruise ship. I hope this information has been helpful for you. And again, if you've gotten some value from this, hit the subscribe button, like this video. And again, when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post future videos. And I invite you to come along on all my journeys, my travels to various places, whether it's by cruise ship or by car or by airplane. And with that, I will say have an absolutely wonderful day and let's go travel the world together.